Okay, let's. I want to show you how to play a D major seventh chord a couple different ways. First, let me explain what a D major seventh chord is. Just a traditional major chord, a D, for example, is made up of three notes, as is any major chord. A C, a B flat, any chord that you play, only really is made up of three notes. Now you may duplicate a note when you play the chord, such as when you're playing a D chord, you're playing these first three strings, but you may play that fourth string, which is a D note, okay? And a D note is in a D chord, so you're good. Even the next string, the A string, the A note is in a D chord, so you can play it, although it kind of adds a little extra A to that D chord. But it can be done, and it doesn't sound sour or bad. Now, a D major seventh is basically those three notes of a D, but you're adding in a fourth note, which is it's a seventh. Okay, thus we call it a D major seventh. And a seventh is actually one note lower than the root note. So in this case, these three strings, that's a D chord. Well, this string right here is a D. So we need to somehow get that note into the chord. So if we kind of eliminate this finger and just bar those three strings, okay, and just play those three strings, the only note we're missing is the D because we were playing it earlier. But remember, this fourth string is a D, and there we picked it up there. So those four strings, that's a D major seventh. Okay, it's four notes, and it's the root note, the third, the fifth, and the seventh, all combined. Okay, and you can combine it different ways. So that's one way to play a D major seventh. Okay, now understand that I can bar anywhere I want and play that same, that if you figure that's a D major seventh, or that we'll just call that's a major seventh form, and then say we bar it on the third fret, and we use our ring finger to fret those three strings, okay, and we can play those 4 or 5 strings, and that's a major seventh. Now, which one is it? If it was a D back here, and we're going 1, 2, 3 frets up, okay, 3 frets up from a D is an F major seventh. Okay, so that is a major seventh formation. Okay, you can play that anywhere you want. Okay, another form of a major seventh is let's say, for example, that we bar a D chord on the 5th fret. Okay, that's just a major chord. But if we take that D note, which is on the G string, and we drop that down 1 fret lower, okay, that's the 7th. Okay, and now we can play it, but we have to have a D note somewhere in here, and we do. We have it on the A string. So we have a D, so we haven't lost the D. We've picked it up somewhere else, and that is a D major seventh. Sounds just like the one we played back there, and we can play it like that. So it's again, you're kind of the form of a typical D bar chord, and you're just kind of dropping that middle string back one and making a little backward triangle, and it's a jazzy D major seventh. And likewise, you slide it up 2 frets. It's an E major seventh. It's an F major seventh, an F sharp major seventh, and so on. So no matter where you are, you can figure out what major seventh that is. Another cool major seventh chord is, and this one we can. Let me do this one. All right, here we can bar the 2nd fret, okay, and put our ring finger on the D string 4th fret and our pinky on the A string 5th fret, and just play those 5 strings. Try to stay away from that low E. And that's a D major 7th also. Okay? And at first that's a little bit of a stretch, but you know, they're all major 7ths. That's a D. That's an E major 7th, F major 7th, F sharp, G major 7th. So that's another cool major 7th chord. So if you want to play a D major 7th, you can play it like this, or like this. All right? And just figure out all the other chords, but they're 3 shapes that you can really get comfortable with and play anywhere to throw that major 7th in. It helps you write songs. It kind of evokes just a different melody that you can come up with. So good luck.